African Independent Congress's Margaret Arnolds has been elected the City of Johannesburg Speaker. Let's get detail now, and our reporter Ahmed Kajee is covering that for us. Ahmed, good morning to you. So, how many contenders, or should we say, how many nominees were there for this position? And the councillors in the chamber, were they all united behind Margaret Arnolds?
Good morning, Colleen. Thank you very much. Yes, big news coming out of the City Council chambers here this morning. Margaret Arnolds being nominated and subsequently elected as the new Speaker of the House of the Year. This follows Councillor Colleen Makhubele's firing from her post and the suspension of her membership from the Congress of the People last week. But just speaking towards what we have seen today, she was the only contender and the only nominee for the position here this morning. So within perhaps with a large majority of the members of it here all agreeing and seconding her nomination as the Speaker of the House. The motion was passed perhaps about 10 minutes ago, very briefly, with many of the members over here actually agreeing to that nomination. But just speaking towards the presence of political parties, the Democratic Alliance issued out a statement about an hour ago saying that this extraordinary sitting is costing the taxpayers way too much money in the city. They disagreed with this entire sitting, and they have subsequently not made their entrance, or at least their presence felt over here today. They haven't come through for this particular sitting. I'll give you a plan in a few moments' time by my colleague Maxwell to just show you what the DA seating is looking like. I'll just take a step out of your shot for 2 seconds. That entire right part of your screen is where the DA councillors in the City of Johannesburg normally would be seated. They have chosen to not make their presence at the council sitting today. So that's exactly what has taken place, and is the reason why, potentially one of the reasons why Margaret Arnolds from the AIC has been nominated and subsequently elected as the Speaker of the House here in the City of Johannesburg. Only she is carrying out just some final congratulations messages over there from some of her fellow council members. The swearing-in is also expected to take place here today within the next 15 to 30 minutes or so. So in terms of what we are expecting over the next half an hour, that will be taking place. Perhaps what is meant to take place in this particular sitting is yet to be concluded. But the main part of the business which we had expected today, the electing of the new Speaker of the City of Johannesburg Council, Margaret Arnolds, that was confirmed 10 minutes ago by all of the members over here who have made their way, including the ANC as well as the Economic Freedom Fighters just to my right-hand side. And even without the DA's presence, quorum was reached, so the vote could go ahead.
Yeah. Ahmed, just before I let you go, you're raising a very interesting point there that you say has been raised sharply by the Democratic Alliance, who are complaining that this particular ceremony is costing taxpayers too much. One would have thought that this should be no different to an ordinary sitting, or perhaps we're completely wrong here. How much is the DA suggesting has been spent? The figure they are still going to put out that exact figure from as far as we know. I may just have a bit more clarity for you within our next crossing in terms of that exact figure. But they say the bills which are outstanding in the City of Johannesburg itself go into the hundreds of millions of rands. So in terms of, they say these funds for this particular sitting, this extraordinary sitting, can be used to perhaps increase the service delivery that there happens to be in the City of Johannesburg. There are major infrastructure issues facing the city in terms of infrastructure maintenance are not being completed, the need for the renewal of infrastructure, power outages as well as water outages in the city. So they say, perhaps the money from this particular extraordinary sitting should be used to address those particular challenges within the city. But that being said, even without their presence here today, perhaps in protest of this extraordinary sitting, action and perhaps activity of the day had continued. The city now has a new Speaker, and perhaps one may argue that with the new Speaker, in some way or form, some business with regards to the city's activities and the service delivery being presented could actually take place now at the fact that there is a new City Council Speaker, just speaking towards also her predecessor, Colleen Makhubele, as a part of the Congress of the People. She was fired from her position, and before that, Vasco da Gama was ousted from his position in September last year, for also during a motion of no confidence, which was presented by the opposition parties. That was in September of 2002.
Ahmed Kajee, thank you very much for that update.